Don't flatter yourself that friendship authorizes you to say disagreeable things to your intimates. The nearer you come into relation with a person, the more necessary do tact and courtesy become. Except in cases of necessity, which are rare, leave your friend to learn unpleasant things from his enemies. They are ready enough to tell them. Oliver Wendell Holmes. Here and there, human nature may be great in times of trial, but generally speaking, it is its weakness and not its strength that appears in a sick chamber. It is selfishness and impatience, rather than generosity and fortitude, that one hears of. There is so little real friendship in the world, and unfortunately, there are so many who forget to think seriously till it is almost too late. Jane Austen. An old friend is like a tender memory or a comfortable shoe. It takes years of caring to get to that point. Laura Moncur. I've learned that all a person has in life is family and friends. If you lose those, you have nothing. So friends are to be treasured more than anything else in the world. Trey Parker and Matt Stone. You're supposed to trust friends. You have no reason to be his friend. That is part of the pleasure of friendship, trusting without absolute evidence and then being rewarded for that trust. David Shore. Go through your phone book, call people, and ask them to drive you to the airport. The ones who will drive you are your true friends. The rest aren't bad people. They're just acquaintances. Jay Leno. Friendship make prosperity more shining and lessens adversity by dividing and sharing it. Cicero. Kindred spirits are not so scarce as I used to think. It's splendid to find out there are so many of them in the world. L. M. Montgomery. There was a definite process by which one made people into friends, and it involved talking to them and listening to them for hours at a time. Rebecca West. The only thing that lasts longer than a friend's love is the stupidity that keeps us from knowing any better. Randy K. Milholland. True happiness is of a retired nature and an enemy to pomp and noise. It arises, in the first place, from the enjoyment of oneself, and in the next from the friendship and conversation of a few select companions. Joseph Addison. There isn't much better in this life than finding a way to spend a few hours in conversation with people you respect and love. You have to carve this time out of your life because you aren't really living without it. Gordon Atkinson. Prosperity makes friends, adversity tries them. Publilius Cyrus. Adversity does teach who your real friends are. Lois McMaster, Bujold. It's the friends you can call up at 4 a.m. that matter. Marlene Dietrich. Friendship is being there when someone's feeling low and not being afraid to kick them. Randy K. Milholland. If you make it plain you like people, it's hard for them to resist liking you back. Lois McMaster, Bujold. The thing about chameleoning your way through life is that it gets to where nothing is real. John Green. I always like to know everything about my new friends and nothing about my old ones. Oscar Wilde. There is nothing like the razor-sharp tongue of a good friend to cut through the lies we tell ourselves. Laura Montker. Never refuse any advance of friendship, for if 9 out of 10 bring you nothing, 1 alone may repay you. Madame de Tencin. My idea of good company is the company of clever, well-informed people who have a great deal of conversation. That is what I call good company. Jane Austen. A good friend can tell you what is the matter with you in a minute. He may not seem such a good friend after telling. Arthur Brisbane. Friends, in my experience, are like ladies' fashions. They come and go with the seasons, and are rarely of such stout stuff as bears repeated wearing. Stephanie Barron. Good company requires only birth, education, and manners, and with regard to education, is not very nice. Birth and good manners are essential, but a little learning is by no means a dangerous thing in good company. On the contrary, it will do very well. Jane Austen. Reveal not every secret you have to a friend, for how can you tell but that friend may hereafter become an enemy, and bring not all mischief you are able to upon an enemy, for he may one day become your friend. Sadi. However difficult it is to be the homely friend of a reputed beauty, there are certain benefits. Most days, the humiliation of being the second choice is outweighed by the overflow of disappointed gentlemen. Laura Montker. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. John Churton Collins. Nothing changes your opinion of a friend so surely as success, yours or his. Franklin P. Jones. An enemy can partly ruin a man, but it takes a good-natured, injudicious friend to complete the thing and make it perfect. Mark Twain. The friendship that can cease has never been real. Saint Jerome. The shifts of fortune test the reliability of friends. Cicero. If a man does not make new acquaintances as he advances through life, he will soon find himself alone. A man should keep his friendships in constant repair. Samuel Johnson. You don't get to pick your own nickname. They've got to give you one. It's like we're all trying to make pets out of each other, and we're not comfortable unless we get to name them. Laura Montker. Friendship is certainly the finest balm for the pangs of disappointed love. Jane Austen. Nobody sees a flower, really. It is so small it takes time. We haven't time, and to see takes time. Like to have a friend takes time. Georgia O'Keeffe. The ornament of a house is the friends who frequent it. Ralph Waldo Emerson. It is wise to apply the oil of refined politeness to the mechanisms of friendship. Colette. I no doubt deserved my enemies, but I don't believe I deserved my friends. Walt Whitman. The advice of friends must be received with a judicious reserve. We must not give ourselves up to it and follow it blindly, whether right or wrong. Pierre Charon. It isn't kind to cultivate a friendship just so one will have an audience. Lawana Blackwell. He who has 1,000 friends has not a friend to spare, and he who has one enemy will meet him everywhere. Ali ibn Abi Talib. To flatter and follow others without being flattered and followed in turn, is but a state of half enjoyment. Jane Austen. When someone allows you to bear his burdens, you have found deep friendship. Gordon Atkinson. A good friend of my son's is a son to me. Lois McMaster Bujold. My mother used to say that there are no strangers, only friends you haven't met yet. She's now in a maximum security twilight home in Australia. Dame Edna Everage. We did not start as friends, but as people who respected and admired each other. Crucial, absolutely crucial for a partnership. As soon as we could afford it, we ceased sharing lodgings. Equally crucial, Raymond Joseph Teller. Friends were like clothes, fine while they lasted, but eventually they wore thin or you grew out of them. David Nichols.